Welcome to Reddit Blue Pill Red Pill, where we go over Reddit's stories and predict the outcome of the stories. Please listen and play along by typing in your choices into the comments. Today, we have a story about a man who tells some white lies to avoid sticky situations. All right, let's get on to the story. I, 50 male, had several instances in my 20s where friends and family members borrowed money from me. They either never paid it back or I had to really pressure them for the money. Problem is, everyone knew I make decent money and knew I was a habitual saver. So when they got hard up, they'd come to me like an ATM machine. They'd be like, "Come on, man, I know you got the money." Then I'd get the hard luck sob story, followed by, "I'll pay you back when I get." I think we've all been in a similar situation to the OP. It can be tough to say no to the people we care about, but at the end of the day, everyone has to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. What have you done in a similar situation? If you are the kind of person who would freely lend money to others, type Q1 blue in the comments. If you instead avoided lending money by any means necessary, type Q1 red. So, I opened up a new bank account. I only put $20 in savings, the minimum required by this bank. Then I'd put enough in the checking for bills, groceries, and spend it that day. So that account only had a few bucks left. When folks would hit me up for money, I'd be like, "Sorry, I'd like to help you out, but money's tight right now." They'd call BS, and I'd log into that account and show them. They'd go away all dejected. This seems like a good plan to allow the OP to avoid further harassment for lending purposes, but it's a shame the OP had to go to such lengths just to have some peace of mind. He knew that people would go to the lengths of actually asking to see his bank account info, which is insane. Now, all this is a ruse to allow the OP to say no without actually having to say no for real. This could open up a can of worms in the future, so maybe being honest would be the best policy in this case. What do you think? Would you prefer to go to similar extreme to avoid uncomfortable situations? If so, type Q2 blue in the comments. If you prefer just to be honest and pull the band-aid off then, type Q2 red. After a few years of this, people started asking where my money went. Obviously, I'm not going to tell them the truth, savings, HYSA, investments. So I'd say beer, or strip club, or casino. And not only did they believe me, because that's what they did, but by the 2010s, they were lecturing me about not wasting my money. Anyway, in the 2010s, I got married and filled my wife in on the situation. She thought it was funny. To keep this charade up for years is nuts. I'm not sure if I should be impressed or disgusted. As the OP builds his wealth in the background, his friends and family think he's a loser who can't control himself. All this just to avoid telling others no, I won't lend you money. At least his wife knows the truth, but he's unwittingly making her join in on his deception, which is not fair to her. When is enough enough? Type Q3 blue if you would continue with your deception as long as the OP has kept his. Or type Q3 red if you would pop by this point and just admit the truth. Anyway, my sister came over for Halloween and made some comment about how glad she was that I had learned to be more responsible with money. My wife started laughing and spilled the beans. My sister confronted me, and I confirmed it was true. Then I told her I wasn't 20 anymore, and if she hit me up for money, the answer was no. She told the rest of the family. Some think it's hilarious, but others think I'm a tight-wadded a-hole. Some have asked me how much I have, and I tell them none of your business. So am I the a-hole? Well, at least we know the OP's wife isn't willing to join in on his white lies. Or are they still just white lies by this point? His own sister and likely the rest of his family for years have been led to believe he was irresponsible and someone to be pitied. I think the OP would have taken this secret to his grave if his wife hadn't spilled the beans to his sister, which in turn told the rest of his family. Now he has to deal with new uncomfortable situations, all because he was trying to avoid saying no to friends and family about lending money. By trying to avoid uncomfortable situations, I believe he has created an even bigger uncomfortable mess. But even with this new situation, do you think it was still worth it? If you believe the man was ultimately correct to lie for so long to his friends and family, type Q4 blue in the comments. If you believe he is left far worse now than if he had just had the initial guts to say no to lending money, type Q4 red. Now, let's listen to a few comments.
Well, your solution was ingenious, and I bet whoever she tells is going to admire the hell out of it, except those few who still want an ATM.
I'm perplexed about everyone in your orbit feeling comfortable discussing your money like this. My family has no idea how much money I have or how I spend it. I have no idea about their financials. It's none of anyone's goddamned business. The fact that you set up a decoy account and then showed them the balance is wild to me. I mean, you made it work, but I would have just told everyone to go F themselves instead.
Not the a-hole. Funny how many learn to survive without your help.
Not the a-hole. Example. One of my sisters is married to a deadbeat who hasn't worked in over a decade, not held down a full-time job, that is. Every time he gets something full-time, he conveniently gets sick. So she's the only one who's worked their whole marriage. There's nothing wrong with him. My other sister is a nurse and offered to help him apply for disability for his illnesses, but he refuses, and we believe he's lied. My sister won't leave him. Their kids are adults now, and she won't listen to us. I made the mistake of helping them out with groceries once. I had an extra $100, and my sister was complaining to me, so I decided to help her. After that, I was their ATM, and it got to the point that she'd only contact me when she wanted money. He'd make her ask because my sister and I would tell him no. After yet another eviction because my sister couldn't afford their rent by herself, I put my foot down. They tried to get more money out of me, and I got tired of it. I'm just one person, and I can't keep bailing them out. All these people acting like OP owes his family. No, he does not. And if there is some toxicity, then definitely not. His money is his to do whatever he wants. Anyone else with a toxic family gets it. It is not safe for them to know what you've got.
Not the a-hole. And you've learned a valuable lesson to tell your family and friends to mind your own business. Personally, I would drop people that were always hitting me up for money.
Not the a-hole. You are not the family ATM. It's really that simple. You do need to have a talk with your wife about sabotaging you and throwing you under the bus like that, though. She should be supporting you in refusing to give family and friends money that you'll never see a penny of back.
Not the a-hole. Your family deserved it. The fact your family continued asking for money, had the nerve to ask where it went, lectured you on saving, which apparently they needed to do, and to ask how much you have now is just audacity all the way around. Bravo to you. Well played. Not the a-hole. You are just being a huge dumbass. Repeat after me. I'm sorry. No, I don't lend money. Your wishy-washy attitude is what keeps them asking. It doesn't matter how much you may or may not have. It is not their business to even ask. If they insist, stop making excuses, stop acting like you have something to apologize for, and just say no, and get offended if they don't drop it.
This needs to be shut down, pronto. Have a level-headed conversation with your wife about never, ever sharing financial information with friends, co-workers, or family. Never. Some people just don't know what that can do, so be gentle. Consistently convey a lack of immediate funds through white lies or when the opportunity presents themselves. Establish that as background noise, like the driveway needs repairing, the car's in the shop, insurance didn't cover something. It's all true over time. Talk like a penny pincher. That your relations disparage you for poor money handling is laughable, given they have their hands out.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching all the way to the end and participating. Please consider liking and subscribing to watch future videos. Goodbye.